attention. Welcome again to the conference. Joining us, attended undergraduate school here in New Orleans. In fact, we met in college. You get more than your BA when you go to college, but we met. We're from the same hometown, but we didn't know each other, so we met on the campus of Fair Dillard here in New Orleans. And so, while as students, we heard all about St. Augustine High School, which is just up the way from London Avenue from school. It was a famous band then, renowned for football, band, and so forth. In fact, we got sick of hearing about St. Augustine High School from the New Orleans people that act like it was the primo. But in any event, there's some St. Augustine graduates out there that acknowledge what I'm saying. But in any event, but it's from our days at Dillard and Ding here and the band and all the massive transformations in high school and public and in education period, Katrina, etc. It is refreshing for me personally that St. Augustine has maintained the tradition of excellence, not only in its music, athletics, etc. And so it's good to know that some things don't change. And so with that, it's a joy and pleasure to have extended to the high school to come and offer the music for us here in this great city of New Orleans, and so we thank them for that. Being in New Orleans, we're equally pleased to have the mayor of this great city himself, a lawyer and from a family of lawyers, etc. And so we welcome the mayor of New Orleans to give greetings. We were at a conference a couple of weeks ago at the ABA litigation conference, and he was the speaker, and he was sitting a couple of rows down. And he was there. We're looking forward to having him over the conference. You know, he acknowledged it kind of in a those, and so I'm like, this is sort of chief judge to lawyer, Landrieu. Mr. Mayor, we're really looking forward to seeing you personally to give us greetings, and so. I know he would have come anyway. At any event, Mr. Mayor, it's my honor and privilege to present you and have you give the welcome part.
I always want to do that to a bunch of judges. Hear ye, hear ye. That's not really what he said. He said, how do you spell contempt? And by the way, that's not why I was confused. You see, look, here's the way you invite a mayor to come someplace. You send a letter to his office, it goes through scheduling, they vet it, they see if they can do it, then they say yes or no. You don't get stopped in a coffee shop by Steve Higginson, who said, man, I got this thing I want you to come to, and then he sees me a couple of weeks later. I said, was this Higginson's thing, or this is Stewart's thing? What is this? I know what it is. May it please the court. I am thrilled to be with you today. Judge Stewart, thank you so much for having me. I'm equally thrilled to, I just met Justice Scalia for the first time. Justice, it's nice to see you. How you doing? So this is what I was thinking about. You know, Justice Scalia is heralded for his great intellect and his great wit. Everybody knows he's an originalist and a strict constructionist, which is great. Because in New Orleans, you're not going to get anything more original than this city. That's the good news. The bad news is that we don't strictly construe to anything in New Orleans. So, I also wanted to tell you that I know that it was your intellect that got you onto the Supreme Court, but I don't know how you get to be the boss of the Fifth Circuit. That just comes by luck, or it's just great hunting, it's great fishing, and y'all work that out how you do. And somebody told me, I don't know if this is true or not, that Marty Feldman taught you everything that you know. Anyway, that's true. He's not commenting on that. Anyway, judges, it's nice to see you. I did have the great opportunity to go to Loyola Law School. I had the wonderful experience of clerking for Chief Justice Calagaro in the State Supreme Court, and then for the great Adrian Duplanche, God rest his soul, who was a spectacular judge on the Eastern District. And I see some of our fellow judges here with us today. So judges, it's great to see you. Loretta, who's been the clerk forever. It's great to see you, and to all of our extended family from the Fifth Circuit and to our guests. I thank you for being here today. It's amazing to me, because I know some of you went to the Jazz Festival yesterday, that you managed to wake up this morning and actually get yourself into place. But you are sitting in a city that is about to celebrate or commemorate the 10th anniversary of Katrina. Post-September 11th, when we were attacked and the world went into a tailspin, the economy in New Orleans fell to nothing, because we are in large measure not only a tourism economy, but in large measure one that represents about $5 billion of economic input. It provides jobs for 80,000 people. When people quit traveling, this city really took a dive. And right when we were back to where we needed to be on August 28th, 2005, Katrina hit, and then Rita hit. And then shortly after that, Ike, Gustav, the national recession, and the BP oil spill followed closely behind. This is a city that has been hell and back, and as many people have said, come hell or high water, and we have had both. We're waiting for the locust, as my mother. When my mother's doing a novena, she knows they're coming. We have had to really do something quite extraordinary, and the people of New Orleans have responded, I think, quite well to the beneficence of the people of the United States of America, and we have become, in my opinion, this nation's most immediate laboratory for innovation and change, because we had to. We were underwater, 17 feet of water for a very, very long period of time. 500,000 homes got hurt, 250,000 destroyed, we lost 1,800 people. Everything was gone. No schools, no hospitals, no doctors. The court shut down for a very, very long period of time, although everybody got to work right away. They were working remotely so the wheels of justice could continue. But we have found a way in the last 10 years not only to rebuild the city, but to use this as an opportunity to create the city that we always should have been. Now, for those of you that have had near-death experiences, you know the first thing you want when you get into a difficult situation, when you have a loved one that died, or you have a catastrophic event, you just want to go back to what you had right before. It's called security. We didn't do that. We put ourselves through the pain and agony of reconstructing our healthcare delivery system, reconstructing our school system, reconstructing our business climate, redefining who we were as elected officials, and I think that you can see magnificent progress that the city has made in the last 10 years, whether it's the reconstruction. Reconstruction of our medical center, the new airport that we're building, you'll see it all, and it will manifest itself in years to come. The most important thing, though, is the reason this happened is because the people of New Orleans found a way, when we had a common threat, to respond in unity. We say one team, one fight, one voice, one city. It's not that we ignored our differences. We have issues of race here. We have issues of class. We have issues of geography. We have all of that stuff. But we have found a way to identify what our main focus should be and really run to them like we're running to the fire, not away. And we have found a way through making government work on the federal, state, and local levels, horizontally and vertically, making sure the faith-based community is at the table, the not-for-profit community, the business community, the legal community, everybody in, taking responsibility and everybody receiving opportunity to actually do a big thing. And I say this to you because when Katrina hit, some people acted as though it was because of the way we are down here, the way we behave, where we came from, and who we're related to. That's not why it happened. Some people said that New Orleans was an exception, not a rule. And those of us here knew that that was not true. That in fact, we were a canary in the coal mine for the country, in large measure, just like September 11th was for the rest of the world. And that there were messages to be learned from what happened here, because the same problem exists all over America. It was shortly after Katrina hit that the bridge in Minneapolis collapsed. It was shortly after that that we realized that we weren't really ready to respond to major catastrophic events, whether they were man-made, terrorist attacks, or something else. So we were the canary in the coal mine. And we said to the country, ignore us at your peril. We have demonstrated, I believe, to the country what success looks like when you try to do big things. But I will say this to you, and Judge Stewart mentioned this the other day in the talk that I gave to the other conference. What happened in Baltimore is not an isolated event. What happened in China years ago in Louisiana was not an isolated event. What happened in New York was not an isolated event. What happened in Ferguson was not an isolated event. There is a message to be learned and to be heard. Those are not just one office. We as a nation, for some reason, in the past 10, 15 years, and we can spend a lot of time talking about why, who, how, what, and when, we have lost our way to do big things in this country, and we have gotten ourselves out of balance. And we have to figure out a way to get ourselves back in it. I have no doubt that we can, because this country prides itself on being the greatest nation that has ever been, and we can always find a way to do big things if we just dare to aspire to them and do the hard work of governing. And that actually happens in cities. I do not have the luxury as mayor of the city of New Orleans of just opining all of the time and not turning those opinions into concrete. There is no ideologically smart way to fill a pothole, or to turn on a street light, or to pave a street, or to rebuild a school. You just got to get it. You got to find a way, or you have to make one. And that's what we have to do in this country. And I think that if I could just give a big message about Baltimore and other stuff, it is a big problem that we have to deal with. The issue of race, the issue of class, the issue of poverty, the issue of geography are not things that we can dance around. You can't go over them, you can't go under them, you can't go around them, you got to go through them. Because the only way to the other side is together. I think that we can do that, but I think the big message is that is something that we need to pay attention to and we ignore. Just like we ignore New Orleans at our peril. I say this to you because Judge Stewart invoked the name of Judge Minor Wisdom. And so you have a role to play, Your Honors. You are the ones that are custodians of the sacred trust that Americans put in your hands when we say that we are a nation of laws, not of men. You are the ones who have been given the sacred trust of interpreting those laws and making sure that the United States of America lives up to her potential and becomes the country that she aspires to be. And it was great judges, like John Minor Wisdom, that says, I have a role in that. It's not just a passive one. It is one that requires our involvement. It's one that requires intellectual curiosity. It's one that requires aggressive argument. It's one that holds everybody that comes before you to the standards of what America professes to be. And I have no doubt that each and every one of you are up to the task, because America needs big things. Big things are ahead, and if we all stay together, we will become the country that we always dreamed we could be. Thank you all very much. God bless you.